Hey guys, well, I got really tired of recording my videos in my kitchen, so I decided I'm going to look outside and I'm going to be watching this humongous volcano erupting because we're going to be learning about igneous rocks. And in order to learn about igneous rocks, we need to make sure that we understand volcanoes. So we're going to do a quick overview of volcanoes. And after we do that overview, then we're going to be discussing what igneous rocks are and how igneous rocks are formed. So after your types of rock project, you should have seen and you should know a lot of these rocks are formed during different stages. And igneous rocks are formed by magma and lava. And magma and lava come from volcanoes. And as you can see, there's an amazing volcano while I stare out my window erupting right now. And even though we're going to have to be inside, we're going to be pretending that we are in Hawaii and we're watching this amazing volcano erupt. Okay guys, so today we're going to be looking at our objective and our key points. Our objective is that students will be able to identify igneous rocks and how they are formed through volcanoes. So our key points are going to continue to be the same as you see on the screen. The three main rock types are igneous, metamorphic, and sedimentary. The three processes that change one rock to another are crystallization, metamorphism, erosion, and sedimentation. And any rock can transform into any other rock by passing through more or one of these processes. And this is through the rock cycle. And you have been covering the rock cycle in your projects, so you should be completely familiar with what this looks like. So we're going to go ahead and watch a short video, and then we're going to be answering some questions. So make sure you're paying close attention to all of the information that is being shared with you.
What do you think about when you hear the word volcano? For many of us, a powerful image of red-hot lava running down a mountain comes to mind. But volcanoes are more than mountains. Let's take a closer look at these natural wonders. How volcanoes are formed. A volcano is a mountain that opens downward to a pool of molten or liquid rock called magma deep below the surface of the earth. It might help to remember that the word molten means melted by heat. A volcano is also the opening in the Earth's crust from which the magma, gases, and volcanic ash erupt to the surface. Volcanoes are different from other mountains because of the way in which they are formed. Volcanoes are formed as cracks in the Earth's surface cause magma, gases, and volcanic ash to spew into the air. But what causes these cracks in the Earth's surface? You might have already learned that the Earth's crust is very thick and is broken into massive pieces called tectonic plates. The plates are like Earth's skin and are constantly moving and shifting as they float on a layer of magma and gases. When tectonic plates collide, one plate can sometimes force another downward, causing one plate to move under the other. This is called subduction, and is how some volcanoes are formed. When the plunging tectonic plate is pushed downward, some of the rock melts, creating magma that can move upward and erupt at the Earth's surface. Sometimes volcanoes can.
Like I said, this is a review of what happens when a volcano is created. And we did cover the tectonic plates while we were at school, and also now that we have not been in school and that we've been doing this virtual learning. So pause right here and go ahead and answer questions 1 and 2. So pause the video right here and then answer questions 1 and 2. So now that you answered questions 1 and 2, we're going to go ahead and continue. And now we're going to be looking at what igneous rocks are and how igneous rocks are formed. So we're going to go ahead and play the video. Make sure that you are paying attention, as you will have to answer questions 3, 4, and 5. So questions 3, 4, and 5, make sure you pause the video when I tell you to do so.
This erupted lava will solidify and form extrusive rocks on the planet's surface. Basalt is a dark, extrusive igneous rock, as is obsidian, a dark-colored glassy rock that forms when lava cools very rapidly. A third common extrusive igneous rock is pumice, which is formed when gas becomes trapped in the rock as it solidifies. This causes pumice to be rough in texture and filled with hollow cavities. Some magma will settle underneath the crust without erupting as lava. This shallow layer of magma will eventually solidify and become intrusive rock. Granite, a light-colored intrusive igneous rock, contains quartz and feldspar minerals. Diorite, another intrusive igneous rock, that is a mixture of minerals such as feldspar, pyroxene, and hornblende, has a very coarse grain to it. As the deeper magma cools, it will become plutonic rock, which has the appearance of granite. Summary: rocks are natural substances composed of minerals. Igneous rocks are formed from the solidification of magma. The solidification of lava forms extrusive igneous rocks. Shallow magma solidifies to form intrusive igneous rocks. Deep magma solidifies over many years to form plutonic rocks.
Okay guys, make sure that you pause the video here and answer questions 3, 4, and 5. Questions 3, 4, and 5. Great guys, so what we're been covering is we covered volcanoes, right, and how they make igneous rocks. We did cover how they come out of the volcano and they're formed into lava and magma into lava, and that lava into rocks. And then from there we understood how igneous rocks were formed either through extrusive or intrusive. But now we also need to make sure that we understand how rocks change. So we're going to first start with igneous, and then we'll go and continue on to the other rocks as we go along during the week. So we're going to watch a video on the rock cycle, and you did create your own rock cycle project, so you should be very familiar with this. So this is just going to be a brief overview of how they change. Pause when I tell you to pause so you can go ahead and answer the rest of the question.
In this video, we're going to read about the rock cycle. Now, this is the picture of a rock cycle. So, no rock remains the same. With time, pressure, and other natural forces, they transform. Remember, we called igneous rocks as primary rocks, and the reason is because they are directly formed from the magma and lava when these molten material solidifies. So, anything that is formed from the basic most ingredient of earth has to be termed as primary rocks. Now that we know igneous rocks are called primary rocks, ultimately the other rocks, that is the sedimentary and metamorphic rocks, are called as secondary, because they are formed from igneous rocks. Let me explain how. You see, igneous rocks are the reason sedimentary and metamorphic rock exist. Let's see it as a story. Imagine the magma coming out of the mantle through volcanic eruption. Now this magma cools down and becomes solid crystal, and that is how igneous rocks are formed. Now as time passes, various weathering agents, or we can also call them exogenous forces like wind, rain, glacier activities, acts on this igneous rocks, and they slowly turn into, or rather I would say break rocks into these small fragments or debris, which we call as sediments. And then these small fragments or debris are buried under layers and layers. With time and pressure, they cement together into sedimentary rocks, and this process is called lithification. I have a video on sedimentary rocks, the link is in the description. In that I have explained how a sedimentary rock breaks into smaller chunks or debris, and when you see those debris, you can easily relate what I'm talking about. So that was the formation of sedimentary.
So we did watch a quick little overview of the rock cycle. We're going to be watching this in parts and pieces. And so we did see how igneous rocks contribute to the creation of metamorphic rocks and sedimentary rocks. So we're going to be following the rock cycle as we go. But the first part that we needed to know, and we need to make sure that we stamp, is that igneous rocks are the creator of all of the other rocks. They are primary rocks. So without igneous rocks, you would have no sedimentary rocks, and you would have no metamorphic rocks. So it's very important that we understand primary rocks and secondary rocks. Go ahead and pause right now, and you can go ahead and answer the rest of the questions. All right, guys, so this is going to conclude our lesson about volcanoes, igneous rocks, how they're formed, and how they change into the first stage of sedimentary rocks. I hope you enjoyed it. I know that I'm enjoying this fantastic view of the volcano instead of looking out my kitchen window. And do know that I have fun activities planned for you next week. So please make sure that you continue with your lessons. You will have another lesson this week, and we will have a holiday on Friday. So make sure that you look at part 2 of the lesson and make sure that you are constantly looking and checking on your assignments to make sure that you have completed them all. Thank you. Have a great day and continue and to enjoy all of this volcanic eruption.